Thank you so much, everyone, for joining today. We're going to walk through some new features and upgrades that RepSpark has released in order to support your trade show functionality, whether that be virtual trade shows, whether that be virtual booths, whether that be actually going to physical trade shows and following up with both leads and buyers as you move through that process. We've done a lot to make sure that all of this transition into the new world of buying digitally is supported by the RepSpark platform. We've added a lot of things to let buyers truly experience your brand. Again, whether you're in that virtual setting where you're putting together a virtual booth and you're trying to pick up leads, what better way to follow up with those leads than to be able to give guest access to some of these catalogs that you've made? Or if you are at a physical show, being able to follow up with digital catalogs and a digital platform as well. So we've expanded the reach to add new roles, new capabilities, new publicly facing pieces of the site to really give your new leads and existing buyers the best digital experience pre and post trade show, whether that be virtual or physical. So let's start with some of the roles. A new role that we have is a guest role. So someone will come in when they go to request access. They have to put in now their store, their other brands that they sell, different things like that. So you'll actually know who would be requesting access, especially if they're coming in through one of the assets that you may be embedding within a virtual trade show booth. Everyone will come in as a guest, and of course, then you get to approve them or not approve them. We'll walk through how that looks in a minute, but you do still have the ultimate say. So just because somebody requests access as a guest doesn't necessarily mean that you need to approve them. If you do want to approve them as a guest, you don't need to set them up with any sort of profile. They don't need a customer code. They don't need a sales rep code. They don't need anything like that. They just need their profile set as a guest. And what can a guest user do? So a guest user can view branded home pages that are assigned to the guest or the public. They can view assortments that are assigned to guest or public. They can view catalogs that are assigned to guest or public. What can they do? They can browse these assets, so they can flip through your digital catalog and they can create favorites list. So remember, the guest is going to be behind a login. You will actually have approved them. You know that they're looking at your stuff, but they cannot place orders. So one more thing a guest user can do is contact a rep. And this is a great way to move a new lead through a funnel. So, hey, I met you at the trade show. Come on in and look at our virtual catalog. Maybe you're going to make a different virtual catalog for your guests. Maybe it doesn't have pricing. Maybe you're hiding specific products that, you really wouldn't want somebody to see who is a guest access. And now they can connect with the rep. What that does is that will send the rep or the admin on the account an email that this guest user is interested in buying and they'd love to move into the state of actually becoming a buying customer. Any favorite list or guest list that guests make, admin and managers can now see those lists. So it'll be very clear to you what your guest users are doing and what products they're liking as they move through the digital catalog as well. One of the questions that we've had is what happens if that guest becomes a buyer, which is obviously what you want to do. They will be able to still see their favorites list and the catalogs that are now for B2B buyers as well as guests. So they'd be able to see that too and go ahead and transition from favorites list to an order. What can a guest user not do? A guest user cannot see product details pop up. They cannot see pricing. They can't see inventory, etc. So if you imagine flipping through the catalog, it's really just flipping through a catalog and circling your likes, kind of mimicking what would happen with a potential new buyer at an actual physical trade show. They won't be able to see the products page and they won't be able to place an order. As soon, though, as that guest transitions into a real B2B buyer, they would be able to then access those lists and turn them into an order. All right, let's now move on to public access. So you can also give public access to many of these assets. So you can give a branded homepage, an assortment, and a catalog public access. I will show you how to do that, but it is a really great way if you are doing some of these virtual trade show booths, whether it be for PGA show or Surf Expo or outdoor retailer. When there's areas to paste in assets, It's a really great place to paste in those digital catalogs that you've created, potentially paste in really awesome assortments that you've made, what's trending now, as well as these branded home pages to really enhance that trade show booth that might be virtual. What can someone do? They can view those, they can flip through the catalog, they can't even make favorites lists or anything like that, but they can request access right from there. So the goal is, let's get this public facing material out. From there, somebody would start looking at it. They would express interest by requesting access. You would get the notification that they've requested access, and then they're either a buyer that already exists, you can turn them into a B2B account, or they are, you can turn them in as a guest. So the goal of creating public access is really to be able to share all these amazing assets that you put so much time and effort into. They can be shared by either copying the link and posting it. Again, we'll walk through all of this, or by pasting the embed code that you can create. That's really a great way to do it. Like if you're sharing a YouTube video, it's the same type of thing. And a lot of these trade show booth packages are accepting embed codes that way. Remember now, though, that public access will allow also all other user roles to access the homepage, the catalog, and the assortment. Something to note, public access is public. So you want to be careful what you're putting in those public catalogs. You may want to hide, again, very sensitive product. You may want to hide pricing. So no one would be able to pop up those product details, but you might want to create, a standard catalog and then go ahead and copy it, remove some of that sensitive material, and make it either available for the guest or available for public access. You can use the embed code or the link. So again, we'll walk through this, but you're going to want to set up your assets as public or for the guest role. A public asset will be visible to non-members, and a guest asset will be available to guest users. Embed code will allow you to post assortments, catalogs, and branded home pages, and I'll show you where to do that. And then for the public assets, you can share them using the embed code or by posting the link. And again, the users cannot necessarily interact with them other than flipping if they're public. If they are a guest, then they'd be able to have that limited access there. We've also added the addition where somebody can request access. So again, they can go down that funnel of viewing that public catalog, thinking that they like it, they want to request access, they can be a buyer or a guest and move through the funnel there, becoming a buyer. Or you can actually now invite out. So you can invite guests and buyers to come join your RepSpark membership instead of having them have to request access. So we'll go through that as well. Remember, digital catalogs, they're truly interactive, they're custom, you can make catalogs for different buyers, you can make catalogs for different shows, and again, making these public, you can now really expand your reach with these catalogs and start the funnel of somebody starting with a catalog, moving to request access, giving them guest access, and then hoping with an actual buyer. You can do the same with your virtual showrooms, really doing dynamic videos and your shopping experience, your 360-degree videos, your branded home pages. We've seen some really great ones from some of our brands where they're adding dynamic videos, links to assortments, link to digital catalogs, links to fit guides. Again, things that you want to be presenting now publicly if you want to, or to guests, to just give them a little bit more taste and feel of your brand, especially if you're not going to be there at a physical show. All right, well, let's move in now. That's kind of the intro, and we'll move into how to do some of these things. So the first thing I want to start with is how do you actually make some of these assortments and catalogs public? So what you're going to do is right over here at the bottom of any of these assortments that you've created or shared, you have your 3 links. You go ahead and you set the permissions, and you just need to set the public view, the view to public, and that now means that this is a publicly facing asset. It still will live inside of your RepSparks system, but once you've made it public, you can share the link or you can use the embed code. I'll show you that in a minute too. If you want to just make it for guest and above, you can also use the designated by role, and now there's a guest role as well. So you can make it public, or you can make it example for a guest, and you click save, and now that permission has been applied. Very similar on the assortments. You'll just go into the permissions here. You can make it public or click designated by role and make it for a specific guest. So again, publicly facing assets, whether it be these assortments or catalogs, will be available to guests as well. So that's kind of the top level. Now it's available for everybody. As far as your landing page builder, how you go ahead and make something public there, you really just click public on this branded landing page builder, and now it's a public landing page, and you can share that link out. Within each of these, if you just wanted a different one, for example, for a guest, you'll now see that that guest role is there, and you can build your landing page and just share that with a guest. So now that you've set that permission, again, to a guest or a public, what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and share that. So a couple different ways that you can do it. You could click right into the catalog or the assortment, whatever you're looking at there, and you can go ahead and use the embed code. So on this catalog, it's right here. You click embed code. This is also where you can copy the link to share it. So this is where you're going to copy the embed code. And for many of the trade show booths, you can paste that embed code right in there, and it will show up perfect in the trade show booth, and you'll be able to access that catalog. You could also just copy the link. This is not for an embed code within a digital showroom space or trade show space. Copy the link will allow you to actually just paste that anywhere. So if you made a really awesome new catalog and you wanted to post that on digital media, and you wanted people to be able to flip through a catalog that you've made, maybe it's even a D2C type catalog, you can now do that in a publicly facing way by making the catalog public and then copying the link and posting it. I'm going to go back here. Same thing with the assortments. So if I were to come into an assortment here, I could use that embed code. I could go ahead and copy the embed code or copy the link. So really easy way to do that. And as far as the branded homepage, you really can just copy the link there also. Or I could go into my landing page builder. I can edit my landing page here, and I can go ahead. I have the same pop-up here where I can copy the embed code or copy the link. So again, first step, you're always going to want to make it public or for the guest. Making it public, you can then copy the link or copy the embed code to be able to share those assets. Now let's walk through what this might look like. So I am going to click in here, and this is what it's going to look like for my publicly facing assortment. So this is an assortment that I created. I made it public, so anybody can look at it. As soon as I try to do any sort of access to it, it's going to tell me to request access. This is a great way, again, to be pushing materials for guests and other buyers to come in and start perusing your brand, even if they're still just a lead, even if you're still trying to get in front of them. So they'll be able to request access, or if they're already a RepSpark member with you, they can go ahead and log in. What does a catalog look like? Digital catalog's the same. So somebody can go through, they can be looking at the catalog, they can look at that full screen, etc. So it's a great way, again, for them to really experience your brand. But if they try to interact or do anything, they're going to want to then go through the request access. And then what does a homepage look like? So this is a public homepage. I'm not logged in. I'm not behind any sort of firewall. But again, a great way to be blasting out that you guys have a B2B site, that you're ready to go, and somebody can come in and start looking at, let's get social. We could look in here. Lspace has done a great job really, making this homepage nice, linking into digital catalogs, linking into other catalogs that they've made public. But then, of course, you want somebody to go through the next step of requesting access. So you would go ahead, they would request access, and of course you would get that access request. From there, you would set them up as a guest or say, nope, we don't want you to have access any further than these publicly facing materials that we're putting in front of you. So again, these are all public. They're not behind any firewall. A note on that, when you're doing your catalogs, just make sure that you're actually including information that you'd be okay with anybody seeing. We do see a lot of brands where they'll make, again, kind of a big catalog, and then they'll make catalogs for a guest that may have some less sensitive material, catalogs for the publicly facing environment. Again, it's a great thing to put in your virtual trade show spaces and let people actually look at something digitally that really tells your brand story, but may not have those super secretive products or pricing or things like that that you wouldn't want public to be able to access. And the next thing we're going to look at is what it looks like for a guest. So those were my publicly facing pages. But I'm now going to log into my demo site, and I'm going to log in as a guest here. And that way you guys can see what a guest user is going to be able to see if you wanted to set somebody up as a guest. Okay, so I'm on my same demo site, but now I'm a guest. So as you can see, I don't have products, I don't have reporting, I don't have anything like that. If I have a branded homepage, I could get back to there. But really, it's just the catalogs and assortments that have been shared with a guest. So I'm a guest, I'm going to see any assortment that's been shared with me. I can see any catalog that's been shared with me. I can go into my assortments. So I am behind a firewall, as you know. So I did have to log in to get here. I can't place an order, so it's going to tell me I don't have access to place orders. Please contact a rep. But I can create a favorites list. So I could go ahead, I could create, these are all my trade show favorites. So again, you're trying to mimic, hey, somebody stopped at my booth. They're a guest. They've never bought with me before, but I want to go ahead and let them flip through my catalog. Let them flip through an assortment I'm putting together for them. Let them look at this different material and be able to interact with it, add notes, etc. And now I can add notes and have my favorite list. So again, I'm a guest. I have a favorites list. I'm able to see any of my favorites lists that I've made. I'm able to see catalogs that are shared with me and assortments that are shared with me. But that's it. I can't really do anything else. If I am in here, I'm in the assortments page or I'm in the catalog page, and I realize that, hey, I definitely want to buy these products. I've made my favorites list now, and I'm ready to go. I can go ahead as a guest and contact my rep. Please reach out to me. I would love to start ordering. Send. And again, your admin will get that email. It will come automatically showing who sent that, all of their contact information, and you'll be able then to hopefully set them up as a buyer. They can then access their favorites list and begin to start the ordering process. So again, you go from that funnel of a public user, publicly facing assets, requesting access, giving them access like this that is just for your guest users to see their catalogs and some assortments that you've assigned to them, potentially their branded homepage. They can also make their favorites lists and begin working away. Another thing that RepSpark has added is the capability to now invite users. So I'm going to go to my other demo, and we'll walk through the user invitation. So now, instead of just being able to accept user requests, you can actually send out invitations. So you're going to have a new manage users that looks like this. Any unapproved user will come in here. These unapproved users would be anybody requesting access that you have not approved yet. So anybody that comes in under that access request will be right here under unapproved. From there, there's a couple things you can do. You can approve them immediately from here. You can see all sort of information. So if they request access, you'll see their store address, their store, products sold, other brands sold, etc. Or you can go ahead and pop the entire user information open, add their profiles, add their roles, etc., just like before. So it's a really great way to, again, be able to see your unapproved users. Then you're going to be able to see anybody who's set as a guest. So these would be all your guest accounts. Of course, you can always transition them into a full user by now selecting them as a customer and adding their profiles just like before. But it's a really great way to also keep track of all the guests that you have that may have come in as a trade show lead or come in as a different lead, where you are now posting out these publicly facing assets and getting user requests that way. And then, of course, you have your full member set. So you would be able to do that. Now, adding a user has never been easier. To add a user, you can go into this add user. You can add a single user. So you can put in their email, name, address if you want to, store name, phone number. You can put their customer code and salesperson code. And once you do that, you can actually invite them. So let's just say we have a guest here and I did want to invite that user. I could add a user. You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and do that right now. We're going to add a user. I'm going to go ahead and put their customer code. I'm going to add their salesperson code. I'm going to add that new user. And now what I can do is I can go ahead and send them an invite. So I can click on that and I could change their roles, etc. Or I can invite them to actually start using the system. You can do this in bulk as well. So you could do add multiple users. I could select, then I could download an Excel spreadsheet. I now can fill in all the users that I want to invite. So for example, with this spreadsheet, I now can fill in emails, customers, salesperson, etc. I can now upload that email directly, those emails directly into, sorry, I'm getting back to my admin dashboard. I can add them right into this drag and drop. It will add them all into my unapproved area here, and then I can go ahead and invite them. So as you can see, these are all pending approval still. Once I approve them, then they can get moved either into the guest or the member section, or I can do an invite. So I could come here and I could decide to invite either one or multiple users. This is a great way to invite your salespeople as well. So they don't have to request access anymore. You can just upload a spreadsheet with all of them. You click invite. So we could say, join the brand A experience. Come check us out. This is a great way also to invite guests. So you could go ahead and invite guests out as well. So guests can be coming in from requesting access, or you could say, hey, these were the 10 leads I got at a trade show. I want to invite them to start interacting with me. I want to invite them to give them links to the guest catalogs and things like that. So you can also be inviting guests. My call to action is going to be join now. I can preview my email, what that's going to look like. Hey, user, come check us out. Join now. It's going to look like that. And then from there, I can go ahead and send it. And what's going to happen is it's going to now send that invite to, one or many, however many people I wanted to send it to. And they're going to be able to accept the invite, set their password, and go ahead and come in straight as a guest. So again, it's a really great way to increase your user base, to start pushing this material out to guest users instead of just having them request access. So as we talked about, they can request access directly from those catalogs where they're public, they request access. A guest user can now connect with a rep, and you can go down the funnel of having them become a buyer, or you can go this invite route where maybe you got a lot of different leads at trade shows and you want to go ahead and follow up with them. Maybe you want to let them look at specific catalogs, let them interact with those catalogs just as a guest right now. So again, you could go ahead and add a single user or multiple user here, and then go ahead and do a bulk invite out. So again, to walk through this, you have your digital catalogs, you have your assortments, and you have your branded home pages. This, of course, is my guest view. So as a guest, I'm only seeing very specific, limited information here. I am able to connect with a rep. I also have my publicly facing assets. So I have my assets like this that I can be looking at and being asked to request access that way. And then I also have my invitations. So now instead of just um, accepting requests, you can actually send out requests to join. So hope this was helpful for everyone today, and I'm going to see if we do have any more questions. No, so you do not need to set your B2B buyers, your members now as guests. Guests is just another role that you would be able to set that user as and give them different membership levels. So it's kind of a whole other membership level. Yes, so to add a user, all of the pages will have it, so you can add it really from anywhere. And again, you can add a single user and invite them out. A great way to, again, get a lead from a trade show, invite them out as a guest to come peruse some of your assets, or you can do the bulk. So download the Excel template, upload that back up, and then you can go ahead and bulk invite out. Again, if you are at a virtual show, and you get a lot of leads. Maybe they didn't go through the funnel of actually requesting access that way, but now you can go ahead and invite those buyers to come purchase as well. Yes, I will show you that one more time again. Okay, so I'm going to log out right now so that I can make sure. Oh, here. Okay, I am logged in here. Let me go back to my demo and actually log in as a manager here. So yes, what we're seeing a lot of brands do is they're making a digital catalog. They're kind of like their big copy that everybody can use. Then you can copy that catalog. So we'll just say copied. Once you've copied a catalog, you can now, will be in my catalog. So that's where I have it. I can go in and now I can edit it. So I've taken that big kind of master catalog. I can go right into the editor up here. And once I've built my catalog, maybe for the guest type user, I might not want to show pricing or something like that. So I could go right over to the product display. Maybe I don't want to show any pricing, wholesale or retail, etc. And now I can start to manipulate that major catalog. I can then set this permission. So maybe this is going to be my guest one. So I can set my permission for this one just for guests. And now I've removed some of that information, and now I can share it and make it available for the guest. So that's how we're seeing a lot of brands kind of create a master catalog and then kind of start to limit what's in the catalogs, either for public use or for your guest users. So then again, you just make sure you click save at the end. All right. Well, it seems like those are the questions that we have. We are so excited to, get this in front of everybody, especially for those going to these virtual booth spaces to be able to create those digital experiences and then share them through using that embed code or copying the link. So we wish you the best, and feel free to always reach out, success@repspark.com. We're more than happy to answer your questions and help you there.